Daniel Jeremiah, heading across the street to go meet the Chargers and fly off with the team that he calls games for on the radio. My colleague from the NFL Network and NFL Media Group is here. So let's start with the Chargers, sir. One of my favorite Harbaugh sound bites already of the season was Jim saying essentially that Justin Herbert's biggest issue is how everyone else has to play up to his level. Like he's waiting for everybody else to get to his level. Yeah. How did that one land?
I think it's just his challenge to the rest of the team, really, is like, I think the job of anybody who's coaching on the offensive side of the ball, and in this case is the head coach who has influence on the offensive side of the ball.
Right.
I would argue that infusing your quarterback with confidence might be the most important job that you have. And there's nobody better than Harbaugh. Like, even the thought of, like, what does he need to improve on would imply that there's something wrong with Justin Herbert, and he won't accept that.
Right.
So he's filling him full of confidence, and now it's, hey, this is a challenge to everybody else. Like, we got to get better. And I think a lot of that goes back to that last game. I mean, that playoff game against Houston where he got the stuffing kicked out of him by Will Anderson and that defensive front. I think that's kind of Jim's way of challenging the rest of the group of, like, hey, this thing didn't end the way we wanted it to last year. And, you know, I know you had the interceptions, but that game was not Justin's fault. This is on the rest of us here to pick it up.
Is it fair to say the biggest improvement on the offensive side to try and pick it up on Herbert's behalf is the running back room for the Chargers? Do you think?
I love that kid on tape, studying Omarion Hampton going through the spring, and then seeing him in person yesterday with that snowman, the number 8 on a running back, which still takes getting used to see those single digits.
Right.
Rich, he's huge. He's explosive. And I think sometimes you can look at it and say, oh, they're committed to the run. They're a physical team. But there's an explosive element that I think was missing there, where some of those 10-yard runs, some of those 8-yard runs, and J.K. Dobbins, when he was out there, popped a couple. Healthy. Popped a couple long ones. This guy's going to hit some big home runs. You know, with Joe Alt and Mekhi Becton on the right side of that line and Rashawn Slater on the left side.
Freshly paid.
There's going to be opportunities for some explosive plays. And then Najee, you know, I don't know where that stands and when they get him back in the mix, but now you've got kind of a 4-minute back who can just be kind of a pounder. So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
What about the receiver room? Tell me about that. What do you got for me there?
Well, I mean, look, Quentin Johnston is to the point now where he's got his critics, and if he catches 50 touchdowns in training camp and drops a ball, we know which one's going to make its way onto social media. But the guy had 8 touchdowns last year, did some nice things. They feel that he's got another level to take his game. Trey Harris, the rookie out of Ole Miss, I talked to him yesterday out there at practice, and Rich, this guy's already – I saw it with McConkey the year before, where the way they talk, they carry themselves, like there's a professionalism, there's an intelligence. I think he's going to be able to get on the field and have an impact right away.
Ladidi McConkey, as he was dubbed from that very chair.
Do you ever get the credit for the origination of that?
It wasn't me. It was the teacher that was here in the form of, you know, our friend Keegan Michael Key. Yeah. Well, and also, was that Ken Tulo?
Yeah,
of our producers?
Tulo.
He came with Ladidi McConkey.
I mean, well done. It's
a team. It's a team effort around here.
I hear you.
But Lad McConkey, we saw what he could do last year. How much better do you think he can be? Like, what does that even look like this year?
I would say, like, look, doesn't need to get quicker, doesn't need to get faster. I don't think he needs to get stronger. To me, the level where this thing levels up is just him and Herbert, you know, more time together. You know, they were on the same page pretty much last year.
Yes.
But you saw it with, you know, Peyton and his guys. Like, when you can put years and stack years together, Brady with Edelman, those type of relationships where you know exactly what's happening, you're seeing the same picture. I think that's where that goes, you know, to another level. But, man, that game, that playoff game that I referenced, you see the images on the screen there against Houston. I mean, the game didn't go the way the Chargers wanted, but that was an unbelievable performance by that dude.
He was a revelation last year, obviously, with the quarterbacks, which we'll get to in a second for year 2. You know, he was worthy of being in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Obviously, Offensive Rookie of the Year was going to go to a quarterback. But he was stellar. And the question is, defensively, what do we have on defense for the Chargers here?
I think one of their big off-season developments for them was keeping Jesse Minter. Like, I thought he would have an opportunity, if not in the NFL, that some big college program would try and throw the keys to him and give him a bunch of money. But getting him back as a defensive coordinator, this group last year statistically was exceptional, and they don't give up big plays. They've reinvested in their defensive line. You know, you think about the outside linebackers, Bosa's gone. But you've got Bud Dupree back. You've got Khalil Mack. You've got Tuli Tuipulotu. They draft Kennard out of South Carolina, who had all those sacks in the SEC last year. So they're still real firm on the edges, and they've gotten bigger with their defensive line. So I think they're going to be good there. Deion Henley, spoke with him yesterday. Thought he should have been a Pro Bowl linebacker last year. He's got another level that he can get to. Derwin James, playing as that big nickel is a playmaker for him. I mean, they've got a lot of pieces, man. And look, talent. They've always had talent on this team. This will be my 8th year doing their games. I've never come into a season and thought, man, they don't have a chance. But now they have a mission and a culture that's been established by Harbaugh, and now you combine it with Joe Ortiz continuing to build up this roster. I mean, there's a quiet confidence there.
So the measuring stick is right there in week 1, though, right? I mean, right away against the, is it now 3-time defending AFC champion?
Well, they've won the division, I believe, 9 in a row.
Chiefs,
so
right? So I guess it's right off the bat. We're going to see what's what when it all comes down to it, because they do have the tools to win the division. If everything breaks. They have to win, game 1. That's number 1, because that's the team that you have to beat to win the division. And then their next 2 are in division. They start with 3 games in division to start the season. So that's the measuring stick right off the bat for the Chargers.
I mean, I think Brockman, if we wanted to measure Brockman as a man, we'd take him to a Brazilian steakhouse. You want to measure the Chargers as a team, you got to go to Brazil and take on the Chiefs. It's just,
that's it.
Those are the rules. Just find out right out the chute where you stand and where you need to get better, and how this thing stacks up. Every year we talk about the Chiefs being vulnerable. Every year we talk about, who's going to close the gap. I think it's the requirement that you have a segment in every training camp show of who can run down the Chiefs in the AFC. So why not measure yourself up against them right out the chute?
You're brushing up on your Portuguese?
Yeah, I'm going to be a little lacking there. Yeah, okay. I think there's probably a better chance of me learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu than there is of me learning the language.
Nice. Ladies and gentlemen.
Also, Brazilian steakhouse. Always on green. Come on, people.
Okay.
Keep it coming.
Keep it coming.
Okay. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
You get the card. You flip the card.
You get a little card. It's red on one side. It's green on the other side. And they just keep serving you. As long as it's green, they're going to keep coming back.
Chiaroscuro? Is that how you pronounce it? Something like that? Where you could slice it off of the...
they come right around.
They just come to the table.
Yeah.
Meat.
There's a lot of meat coming your way.
Yeah, cornucopia of meat.
Good to know. Good to know. We got Daniel Jeremiah here on the Rich Eisen Show.
I said Brockman. I knew he would have background knowledge on a Brazilian steakhouse.
Keep it going. So let's talk about Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
We're hearing he's drinking out of a fire hose right now. That's the word out of Bears camp. One day you're hearing, Ben Johnson say, yeah, he's playing a little bit slower because we're throwing everything at him. Now you're hearing, well, now he's getting it. He's getting it. Now what? What is the expectation level of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams in his development in year 2?
Well, I think it's good. I think Caleb will respond to tough coaching.
You do?
Yeah. Okay. I think he is a tough kid. I think he's tough-minded. I think that when you're as high profile as he was at the collegiate level, you win the Heisman Trophy. You can say, okay, well, this guy needs to be coddled. I think he likes being coached this way. And I think, Ben Johnson's going to try and make, as any good coach, make practice harder than what you're going to see in a game. So put a lot on his plate. You're playing against a very good defense that can throw you a lot of different looks in practice every day. And let's not, let's make the standard, and let's not tippy-toe around anybody's feelings. Say, hey, you weren't good enough today. Hey, your pre-snap communication wasn't where it needs to be. I think Ben Johnson, that confidence he has and that tough coaching, I think Caleb's going to respond to that. I think some people reading into this saying like, oh, is there already a relationship issue? Is this too much for Caleb? And I got a little more confidence in Caleb being able to handle that.
Okay, so what does it look like? You think an above 500 season for the Bears or something like that? Because Bears fans are, the general sense for the Bears from their fan base is that Ryan Poles has put a team together ready to roll, and now we'll just see if Caleb Williams can actually take them there. That's the general sense of it right now.
No,
so
I think that's fair. I don't know why you would set your expectation lower than, being a playoff team. I look at their roster, and I think there is going to be a trend. They're going to trend upwards as the season goes on. I don't know if the Week 1 Bears are going to be the same as the Week 6 Bears.
Right.
But I think there's enough there, and I think they have enough time that they can get themselves to double-digit wins and be a playoff team. I think it's all there for them to do that. Now let's just see if they can pull it off.
Got to get Terry McLaurin in for Jayden Daniels, right? I mean, that's imperative. He's in, I understand, but signed and sealed and delivered and not holding in. That's that is crucial for year 2, despite how much of a unicorn Jayden Daniels looked like last year. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Well, yeah, these things usually have a way of
working out
and getting done. I talked to some people in their personnel department the other day, and that's, what stood out, how does Jayden Daniels get better? What we saw last year was so good. And they're like, well, first of all, just leadership-wise, like he's taking it up a big notch here. He's more comfortable. He's speaking. He's kind of bringing everybody, along. But everything he's doing is even faster than he did last year. So that's scary. As good as he was last year, that they're confident in the building that he's got another level to him. They feel like the offensive line is better. The secondary, they think, is much improved over what it was last year. And, you got to get the McLaurin thing worked out. But, Rich, I just feel like these things always have a way of working out.
All right, Drake Maye's year 2, what do you expect out of last year's 3rd overall pick?
Well, I mean, now I'm just going to be accused of being overly positive, but
you loved their draft. I know that.
I loved their draft.
Right.
I loved it, and it wasn't just me willy-nilly saying like, I think they had a great draft. Like, our buddy Jack Andrade goes through and takes where I ranked players and where players went, and value-wise, the Patriots are right at the tippy top. So I love what they did to build around Drake. I think Vrabel comes in there, and the guy's just, he's a winner. He knows that place inside and out. He knows what works inside that division. And look, I shouldn't watch Twitter highlights or X highlights during this time of year because you can spin whatever narrative you want. But man, there've been some nice throws. There've been some nice throws from Drake Maye that have made their way onto the social web.
Well, I mean, Josh McDaniels being there is a huge boon as well as the OC. I mean, we saw what Mac Jones's best year of his young career was when McDaniels was still the OC there. One can only assume Ball's going to come out on time. Trevion Henderson's going to add some pop as well at the running back spot. Stephon Diggs is chasing around little puppies, so obviously it looks like he's ready for week 1.
No, all I could think of was like, gosh, I'd get my Achilles if the change of direction for that little puppy he was going after that could have gone wrong.
Interesting that you went negative that way, because I was thinking positive that if you had caught the puppy, it would have peed all over you.
That's fair. That's fair. Somebody, they showed that on. I was doing network stuff the other day. They brought that video back.
That's odd.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll give you a heads up. Long before, Daniel, you joined NFL Network, Terrell Davis was on NFL Network. He passed out riding with the Blue Angels at a Super Bowl. I believe one of our first Super Bowls.
So funny.
Yeah, we had video of him passing out. We played that on a loop for about a decade. Certainly when John Elway would come on, because it would get John Elway cackling right off the bat.
Well, here's my beef. Okay, here's my beef, and this goes all the way to the network. And I don't know if we need to talk to Charlie about this, but the previous guy who sat in the draft chair had a video that they would show every single year. That video was him intercepting Dan Marino.
Yes,
I'm getting peed on by a puppy,
That's true.
And he's picking off Marino. How is that apples to apples?
Because we were all scared of Mayo.
That's fair. Yeah. He chastised me the other day.
This is an honest conversation we're
Mike
having.
texted me the other day. I'm at Eagles camp. Where the heck are you? I'm like, Mike, I got stuck in Nashville. Well, you missed a good practice. I'm like, geez, it wasn't my choice. I got stuck.
Your fault for not being there. Sounds just like Mayock pointing fingers.
Good practice.
It sounds like Mike. Michael Penix's 2nd year. What are we expecting out of this in Atlanta?
I'm intrigued. Like, that's one. You see the Kyle Pitts stuff already out there. All the hope. I'm probably not going to take a dive on that one again.
It's the annual Kyle Pitts season. That this is it's finally happening.
I've done that a couple times in the fantasy world. I'll probably leave that one alone.
Sure.
But I am excited to see. Can to me the biggest thing, can he stay healthy? Like, if Penix stays healthy, you're going to see some big explosive plays down the field, and with Bijan running the ball.
It's Bijan.
Bijan.
Be careful.
What did I say? Bijan.
Like you did. Like the mustard. Yeah. It's Bijan. Just helping you.
There's another name that I was thinking of that I can't remember. There's another name where it's like, gosh, it should be this because it has just.
Yeah, I know that.
At some point in time, you have to recognize this is the way my parents want me to be known. But this has a better ring to it.
Certainly, if you're trying to sell your own brand of mustard. Yeah. But because the offense is loaded, if everybody stays healthy and can actually, participate, that's the way it looks in Atlanta for sure.
I still feel like that's Tampa. I don't think they're going to get to Tampa in the division.
So then let's get to 3 other quarterbacks, and I'll let you go across the street so you can fly out on time with the Chargers to the Hall of Fame game on Thursday, tomorrow night. Wow, against the Lions. You can catch that on NBC. You got Daniel Jeremiah here on the Rich Eisen Show. It's all about JJ McCarthy, and in the same way I'm like with Caleb Williams and the Bears. Team set, and the quarterback raise his level of play to take this team to where they want to go. Last year with Sam Darnold, 14 dubs. Everybody's back. We're assuming, Jettas will be healthy enough for the season despite the hamstring that he's dealing with right now. It's McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell and what he can do to coach him up. What is your expectation level there, Daniel?
Well, there's a couple things. I believe in JJ's ability. I think the talent is there, you know, and so you start there. And even more believe in his ability. I'm such a believer in KOC. I think Kevin, I don't know if you saw the article they had, I believe it was on ESPN.com, where it talked about he had devoted an hour a week to JJ last year to spend with him and answer questions. Like that's just next level. You know, these coaches are in such a time crunch and in a bubble, and we got to win this week, and who's our opponent, and let's get focused on that, and on to the next game, whatever. This guy was already thinking to next year, knowing I can't just have this as a wasted year for JJ McCarthy. So the fact that he was dedicating time during last season to answer his questions and to get him up to speed. They have a plan. They understand what they need to do to get him rolling. I think they understand what his strengths and weaknesses are, and I'm never going to doubt Kevin.
So entrust in him, in the coach of the year, who is already thinking of being the coach of next year.
Yeah, exactly.
While he's coach of the year for a 14-win team with Sam Darnold, right?
It's next level, man.
So it's that simple. You believe in his talent level, and you believe in the guy who can make the most of it.
Yeah, he's gonna have some the stumbles along the way. He's just getting his feet wet. But I think Kevin is so good in terms of how he designs it. I think their team and their offense is so stacked. I have a hard time seeing them being anything other than productive.
And I guess full circle on the AFC West conversation, which we started with the Chiefs and Chargers kicking things off, and then the Chargers go to Vegas, and then they go back home opener against Denver. Bo Nix is coming in. If not for Jayden Daniels, that's the offensive rookie of the year. So year two with him, and they pay Cortland Sutton. I know Dobbins wound up there.
Yeah.
R.J. Harvey, we were talking about him during the draft.
Explosive.
I think they've upgraded the running back position. I think we can say that safely. Mm-hmm. What do you think about Bo Nix year two? Your expectation level there?
Look, I was there, and his first start, I believe, was against the Chargers up there, and I thought there was a little bit. He was just a little bit skittish. He made some plays, but he was a little jumpy. And then seeing him just settle in and found his poise as the season went along, and then he just started ripping it. I mean, he was lighting the world on fire. So, scheme, the talent, the connection between them. I think Sean. The important thing for him is not just the ability of the quarterback, but the connection of the quarterback, where he can almost kind of play the position from the sideline. Those guys were on the same page, man, pretty early on last year. So, again, there's a lot of positive stories. You can kind of see it's because we brought all these young quarterbacks into the league.
Yes.
A lot of talented young quarterbacks. And now we're seeing, we always talk about the play caller, the playmakers, the protection. I can't remember we've had this many young quarterbacks, year one, year two, that are in situations where they've got all those things in place. The guys that have flamed out and haven't worked out, we can go, oh, man, they didn't have the right play call, or, man, the offensive line was a little sketchy, or not a lot of dynamic playmakers, or at least they're missing one of those three. These guys we're talking about, Rich, for the most part, all have all these things set up for them.
Before I let you go, reasonable expectation for Cam Ward. Total touchdowns, 25. You take over, under?
Well, I think
total touchdowns.
Yeah, total. Yeah, I mean, I don't know it's going to correlate to wins because I think there's some issues on the defensive side of the ball. But I was talking to their guys when I was at the camp the other day, and I said at Titans camp, and I just said, one thing I know for sure: last year, the Cardinals' sin in football is to be bad and boring. Like, you're not going to be boring. Like, he's going to make it fun. Like, just watching him at practice and, sprinting left and throwing to Ridley all the way across his body. Like, he's going to have some turnovers. He's going to throw some interceptions, but there's going to be some highlight reel plays. He's going to make some splashes. They're going to score points, Rich. So on the touchdown thing, yes. On the wins, I think defensively they're going to have a hard time.
So you could see it. You saw it. Like, this is first, because you were like this. He's the first quarterback to be taken off the board. Maybe not first overall talent.
Yeah.
But you could see it.
He was there when I talked to him, and this is from talking to the president, the general manager, the coaching staff. They said, we cannot beat him into the facility. And it's gone from him being here 5 to 5:30 every morning, which he is every single day, to now he's got all the rookie receivers with him. He's got the rookie tight end from Texas, Helm, with him. Like, he's bringing these young guys in with him at 5:30 every single day. And then you get out there and you see the tools, which are legit. So I'm excited for him. Again, I don't think they're going to win more than 6 or 7 games at the most.
Right.
But I think he's going to provide some excitement.
And then the tough assignment starting at Denver, and then when Jacksonville opens the season home against Carolina, over under number of snaps for Travis Hunter. I set it at 75.
I think I'll go over. I think that's going to be too tempting to.
It is. It's got to be though. Daniel, it has to be. I'm just going to go in again one more time, and then I'll let you go. It has to be. Like, he can do it. He's proven he can do it. He's smart enough to do it. He's talented enough to do it. He's physically able and ready. You know what I mean? Like this. How do you not just release the hounds here?
I think,
right?
Yeah, I think there's two ways of looking at it. It's like we can ease him in, or let's give it a shot, and we'll see how he recovers.
Right.
And maybe we get to week 4 and we go, okay, let's dial it back just a little bit here, maybe on one side of the ball or the other.
No, I say that
but
differently.
I'd be tempted to roll it out there and see what it looks like.
I look at their schedule, okay, and week 5 is a Monday night game in Jacksonville. Everybody's in town, right? The whole country's going to be watching. I want him 100 snaps against the Chiefs. Oof. I want him every snap on offense and as much as he can give me against Mahomes and see what he can do. Like, let's go. Let's roll. Ramp him up to 100 snaps in that Monday Night Football game. That's what I would do. But again, I'm a narrative guy.
We have no precedent. So
that's right.
I mean, I don't know. They're one thing that's helpful for them in this era is with all of the GPS stuff you can wear. They can test this out on the practice field. Say, okay, we've given him this many snaps.
Yes.
And now we see, like, okay, now his speed is starting to suffer, or you know what, this guy can be at 100 and he's at 100 no matter how many snaps we give him. They're going to have that information. So for us to sit here and speculate he should do 70, 80, 90, 100, like, they'll have the actual data that'll say, okay, he can do this.
Well, as you know, we're covering the commencement ceremonies of the induction ceremonies of the Hall of Fame from Los Angeles this year. So say hi to everybody in Canton for me when you see them. They're awesome people.
I will do that.
Say hi.
I'm looking forward to it. The only thing about the preseason, it's a lot of extra guys in the plane. I don't want to see anybody lose their job, but it is nice to spread out a little bit when the regular season gets there.
It's all about you, brother.
Sorry, man.
All about Daniel Jeremiah. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.